Good evening, everybody. This is Rob with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight, and my guest is a filmmaker and writer, Peter Anthony. How's it going, Peter?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me, man.
It's about time you came on the show.
Don't let the audience know. All right, just let it go. Just let it go.
You also went through a pretty bad surgery. How did that go for you?
That's my 24th knee surgery on that knee. It's my 40th body surgery. Just a nightmare. It's just going to Florida. The flight got canceled, so the surgery got canceled. So then it got bumped up, and then my dad got sick when we were down there. He was supposed to take care of me. I was taking care of him. So it was a crazy surgery anyway. So it was a nightmare, to tell you the truth. But hey, I'm home now and I'm walking, and it's like 65%. So I can't complain.
That's pretty good. I'm surprised you haven't wrote a horror film about your surgery.
I'm writing up. The Laugh has a lot of parallels to my real life, including the knee, for sure.
Yeah, let's get into Laugh, your film coming out. I was going to ask you about that when you made this. Was this kind of a little bit on your life experiences, about psychological and type of depression, type of health in everybody?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of parallels. So if you're on my personal site, I had a stepson that I raised for a while, and then my ex, took him from me, and she got into drugs, and she doesn't allow me to see him, and he loves me and misses me, and I miss him. And we raised $5,000 for him for Roseblood, and it's a real sad situation because we both want to see each other, but she doesn't let us. So that in the film, the fact that my personality is kind of a duality. You might have heard the nickname Mad Cuban, and there's me. So there's that crazy me, which I definitely grew up as. And then there's, like everyone's got demons in their closet and depression and trying to do the right thing. The whole movie is real simple. It's just the choices we make every day between good and evil, because nobody's perfect and nobody's all bad, believe it or not. Everybody's constantly trying to make good decisions, but sometimes you have to make bad decisions or you lose it or so on and so forth. So it's like a man's struggle through that.
Yeah, I just watched the trailer for Laugh because you got your Indiegogo campaign going, so people can get on there and get those great perks for the film. All I have to say, your trailer, the visual effects and the cinematography on the trailer was just right on and very beautiful shot. I love the visual scenes in the trailer.
Thank you. The director of photography is Cody Newton. He's from Newton on Newton Productions. He's a director and writer himself. So me and him got together and talked about the look, and we bought a different camera, and we used different lenses. We wanted that really deep, rich color, kind of like a John Wick 4. He was telling me the lenses were more like. I'm like, that's exactly what we're looking for, because it works. And then special effects, the burned Russian victim, that's Thomas Smith, and then Jason Brooks and Naomi at Real Fiction did 95% of the rest. They did the clown head, they did the train and the thing rolling in. So, and Evie was the head makeup. She's MUA. She was the head makeup, and she did my face design for that Reaper look. There was what we call him. So when he's normally has green eyes, when he kills somebody, he gets that pinhole eye look with the blood on his face. He calls the Reaper. So we had a lot of great talented people, but yeah, Jason and Brooks and Naomi did all the crazy practical effects.
Yeah, the practical effects in the trailer look pretty good. In the makeup, where you play the Reaper as the demonic Reaper clown, they did a good job on your face. I mean, that was a very creepy clown. Though it's a type of clown I would hate to be in the dark alley, like really late at night, having that thing staring at me.
Yeah, I don't know how old you are. You remember the rap movie Belly?
Yeah, I remember Belly, yeah.
They come out of the club and they're glowing like in the UV.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. So once he becomes the Reaper, we repainted my whole face with white UV, and those contacts are reflective UV contacts. So when I come out of that scene at the end of the trailer there, I'm glowing. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of look we were going for there. So we wanted to be very visual. I think we did a good job on the trailer of that.
And the pretty cool thing about it is I like how you're going practical. I love it when indie filmmakers go practical than CGI. It's just so original, and you put your heart and soul into the practical effects of the movie. I say this on my show all the time. I'm a huge practical effect kind of guy.
My favorite movie is The Thing. So, yeah, yeah, and then also the gentleman that I smashed his head in the bathroom. That's Jason Brooks and Naomi too. His teeth are hanging out his jaw. There's blood. There's someone there squirting and blood's shooting out of his face. That was all practical, also.
And I love how the Reaper, he kind of reminds me of a futuristic, like, extreme Joker. You know, he could be like a genetic freak from the Joker's genes in the near future, in that creepy, eerie laugh.
Yeah, this version, he's it's just a regular man, but he just basically gets pressed and pressed and pressed so much that he becomes like more. And he's really strong. He's not really into weapons, and he's more of a hand to hand. That's what makes him so different. Most of the clowns were kind of skinny. I knew they were crazy, don't get me wrong, but they were kind of weak. You know, in this one, he's strong and he's kind of like built up, and he uses his hands, and he's like a force to be reckoned with. You know, scary.
And I love in the trailer where it gets very gory. I love how you tease the audience. It makes me want some more. And I can sure tell you, I'm going to participate in your Indiegogo. I got to have this Blu-ray in my film collection. I'm a strong supporter of physical media. This film looks off the hook. I love how you tease a little bit of the blood and gore in it with the special effects, and it wants me to see more. I want to see more of Fear.
Thank you. That was the whole thing. We shot 5 days of like a total 19-day shoot. And I specifically in my brain said, these are the 5 shots. So those shots are real shots that are going to be in the movie. But I specifically chose them so they would make a cool trailer. So in the beginning, that's Siberia in 1956. Yeah. Then you're in a club. Then you're at the house. Then, so there's so many things going on that I think would work visually. And it did. And there was a whole other scene we shot at a TV station that we didn't even use. It just didn't fit. So I'm excited. We shoot again September 9th to the 20th. And thanks for getting the Blu-ray. There'll be tons. I don't know if you ever got my other movie, Rosebud Blu-ray, but behind the scenes, we put a lot of time, effort, and money into behind the scenes. You will see how Jason and Naomi crafted that from sculpting all the way till on set.
Now, who's going to be doing your film score and the music in your film? Because every horror film always has a great score to it.
2 people that I'm trying to work on that I haven't figured it out yet. There's one person named Tim Williams. You can look him up. He did She Came from the Woods. He did John Wick 3. He did a whole bunch of films. There's another gentleman named Max that's over in Europe. So we haven't got to that point yet because they don't even want to look at it until you're done shooting. But I have these people in mind. I've contacted them. And then when the movie is done, when you get the final cut, you give it to them and I'll see what they can do. But that's a huge part. Sound to me is very, very big. I spend hours and hours on one scene just for sound. And I spend more money paying the sound guys than I do paying the visual guys.
Now, let's talk about how you got Terry Kaiser, who everybody knows him from Weekend at Bernie's. He plays a good dead guy. How'd you get Terry Kaiser in this typical role? You can tell he was really getting into that role when you see him in the trailer.
Yeah, there's even more weight to see. He's my father. He's Peter Collymore's father, who's a former war veteran also, and he's a heroin addict. And he's like all messed up and hanging on to life. And he's in his underwear in that scene, and his shirt's all ripped, and he's got a beard, and he's all dirty and messed up. His house is a mess. I became friends with him when I did Friday the 13th Rosebud, which is a continuation of Part 7. I went and got the original 7 cast, which is Lar Park Lincoln, Kevin Spiritus, and Terry Kaiser. And then we really hit it off and became friends. And I go to conventions with him. I'll be at his table. We'll go out to dinner a couple times. He became my friend. And I just couldn't imagine a better actor to play my father than him.
That's good because he plays an old veteran. You can tell he's a strung out veteran on heroin and all that. And you can tell he has some of the little PTSD little symptoms, how most soldiers get when they come back from war. I love how he played that approach as well.
Right, and I have that also. So I'm from the Afghanistan war, and he's from Vietnam. And there's a lot of similarities between us and a lot of differences between us and how we handle those things. And the demon, Calypso, that clown, has a lot to do with that also. There's so many like different storylines that weave together for the end.
So how'd you come up with Calypso? I know it's a little bit about the story of your life. How'd you bring Calypso into Laugh?
I started looking up like demons, and like in Slavic and in Russia there was a thing called a chort, and it took over someone's soul. So I always felt like when I got mad, right, when I became the Mad Cuban thing, it was almost like somebody else took over. So in my mind, that's how it all started. It's like, what would drive you to become like an evil person? And then I just came up with this idea of a demon. It wasn't even a clown at first, but then I made him into the clown. And this clown, he's totally different than ours, than others. He changes and mocks everybody. So if you look at when he's on screen with Terry, I don't think that made the cut. He's wearing Terry's clothes. He's in his underwear. When Terry puts a suit on, he's wearing the Colonel's suit. When there's a woman announcing the TV, and then he ends up being her with a dress and a wig and nails, everything. Every time he presents himself as the form of a person.
That makes it so very creepy and eerie, man. Like I said, I'm hooked. I just love supporting indie horror. I mean, there's a lot of great indie horror films out there too. And another cool thing about it is I like how some indie horror is really coming out to the big movie screens as well. You know, it's about time we get some original, horror on the big screens. And I just love how indie horror is getting a little bit more popular with film goers.
Yeah. Oh, I love it, man. It's never been hotter. Like, I did 4 or 5 indie horror fans for Friday the 13th and films, and there's so many. I support almost all of them. I know almost everybody, and I love it. It's like, the studios, they don't get their shit together. They're all about money. They don't give a shit no more about the fan. And I love that the fans are like, F you, we're going to do it our way. And you're boundless. You can just take crazy risks and do whatever you want in the story because it don't matter, So I love that shit. I love when people make their dreams come true.
I did too, and I loved your article in Indie Horror Junkie, which is run by Rick Damford and Amy. I know them pretty well. They did a little article on me, and I read the article. I really enjoyed it. How did it feel to have your character from Laugh in Indie Horror Junkie, like just in a horror magazine in general?
Dude, I just framed it and put it on my wall in the hallway. And I took the picture of it and I sent it to my parents and everybody. It was an honor, man. It's another weird thing. Show you how much times have changed. That's the 8th episode and no man was on the cover. Because I noticed, I'm like, hey man, am I the first guy on the cover? Because there are always chicks on the cover. And they're like, yeah, you're the first guy on the cover. Oh wow, I broke a barrier. But I loved it. He does such a good job with that magazine. It looks so professional. The colors and the articles and everything. It was an honor to be on that. It's like all-time check mark for me, for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad he did that for you because Rick and Amy, they're good people, man. I mean, Rick's a filmmaker too. He's done some great stuff with Amy too, I give them kudos for making you to be the first male on their front cover. Because like you said, they have all these women on their covers dressed all sexy and all that and very dirty and filthy, which is kind of hot.
Yeah, I had no problem with it at all. And he's got a movie coming out too, The Clock, right?
Yeah, I just saw that. It's a very good independent horror film. Yeah, I had him on my show. He's a friend of the show, and he sent me a screener of it. I had him and Amy on, and we talked about it, which was pretty fun. Now,
they're awesome.
Let's talk about Friday the 13th, how much you love Friday the 13th, what you were mentioning on this episode about the Friday 13th fan films, Roseblood in the Fall of Camp Blood. How did that all come together for your love of Friday the 13th?
I was actually part of a movie called Voorhees. Then I left that, and then I was part of Vengeance 1, Vengeance 2. I made Roseblood, and I was part of Fall of Camp Blood. I'm also part of, oh my God, he's going to kill me. There's another universe that they're doing a Friday the 13th universe with other villains, and I play a character in that too. But it all started with me being a fan, and then I had a Friday the 13th the game tournament that was pretty big. It had 11 countries in it. I became friends with Kane Hodder, and then people asked me if I could promote. And then I started promoting, and I did pretty good at that. And then Vengeance, Jason Brooks saw me and said, hey, you want to promote for Vengeance? We raised $57,000 in 60 days. And then we did Vengeance 2. Then I wrote Roseblood. So it just I've always been a fan since I was a kid. 6 years old, I used to sneak downstairs in HBO and watch Friday the 13th. Into going to conventions, all these Friday the 13th, my whole room was full of Friday the 13th memorabilia, to then promoting an indie film, to then making my own. Pretty lucky. That's
pretty awesome. And the Friday the 13th has a great horror community. They are die hard for their Friday the 13th fans. And my favorite Jason is, of course, C.J. Graham. I like him. I love
Yeah.
CJ. CJ's the man. I had him on my podcast. He's a real cool dude, and um, he's like
I worked with him on Vengeance. He's in Vengeance 1. And
really.
he's in Friday the 13th. Oh, yeah. So him and Tom Matthews fight in Vengeance 2. Tommy from Part 6. And I actually coordinated that fight scene. I'll send you the links to the movie so you can watch them.
Yeah, let me watch that. Yeah, because like I said, CJ Graham's my favorite. I mean, everybody has their favorite Jason and their favorite film. So, of the Friday the 13th universe, who's your favorite Jason and your favorite film that's your go-to that you can watch over and over again of the Friday the 13th films?
My favorite Jason incarnation and look is Kane Hodder in 7. I just think that rotten look, and he's so violent. And then when his mask breaks, I mean, that's got to be the best makeup underhood ever. So that look is the best ever. But my favorite film is 4. I got 4 number 1. I got 4, then 6. A lot of people have 6. Then most people have 4 or 6, and most people probably 60% have 6. But I got 4, then 6. What about you?
Oh, me, I like 6, man.
Yeah,
I love part 6. I mean, I've seen them all over and over again, but I just like part 6, man. That's where it's at. That's my go-to Friday the 13th film. I mean, I can watch them all, but that's just my go-to, part 6, man.
Yeah. Why they bury him with fishing attire? How weird is that, right? The little fishing hooks and shit he had. Why they bury him with that? It's so weird.
Yeah, those are so, I mean, like I said, those are so much fun. So, what got you, besides getting in the Friday the 13th films, have you ever thought about maybe doing any other type of fan films besides Friday the 13th? Doing something different besides like how everybody's doing a Michael Myers or Jason? Have you ever thought about doing something different or original towards a fan horror film?
Well, we're doing Laugh, which is an indie film.
Yeah.
Not a fan film, though. But yeah, but no, you mean like a different IP, a different horror villain?
Yeah.
We could have and would have, just we spent so much of our own money. I mean, I must have spent $80,000 of my own money. We do all this for the fans. We lose money all the time. So we finally did enough of them where we're like, hey, I think we're good enough to now kind of branch on our own. So now we're doing Laugh, we're doing The Death of Snow White, we're doing 259, and we're kind of just sitting back, and I'm just supporting everybody who's making their own now. I've retired, you know what I'm saying? We did what we did, and now it's time for someone else to shine.
Yeah, let's talk about Death of Snow White by Jason Brooks. I mean, that movie looks phenomenal, man. I mean, I love the twisted take on it, and also, the visual effects on it, too, because you get like a little glimpse of it, which I really liked. How'd you get part of Death of Snow White?
Well, we're like a team now. So Jason Brooks, Sean Lutzis, who's the producer, he's the father of Sanaya Lutzis, who plays Snow White. Cody Newton, who's the DP, and myself, Peter Anthony Productions. Cody Newton is Newton on Newton Productions. We've kind of bonded and just said, hey, going forward, everything we do from now on, let's do it as a team. So I have a small role in that film, but I'll be marketing and I'll be on set and I'll be helping. But Jason Brooks did it absolutely phenomenal. I know Naomi helped him out too. Phenomenal job writing that film, and he will be directing it. And Sean Lutzis producing and just doing a million things. That film is going to be very, very. That budget's about 10 times more than Laugh. So that film is going to be at castles and outside, and it's going to be a big, big film.
Yeah, I love the young actress who's playing Snow White. She's perfect for that role. She that
just like her, right?
Yeah, she's got that young, innocent look about her to play Snow White, and I was like, oh, she's gonna nail it.
Even the fair skin, like it just totally works. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
Jason Brooks' house. You want to talk about like effects? Marco Polo is like a FaceTime app. We mark all the time. He's got dead bodies, broken arms, like possessed trees, like all kinds of shit in his house right now, getting ready for that movie that he just creates all day along with his team. It's pretty cool.
Damn, he sounds like a fun guy to hang out with. I would love to pick Jason's brain and your brain. I like to get like both of you at one time just to pick each other's brains and see who can get fucked up in the head.
Yeah, I have the easy job. I tell everybody he has to make it happen. So that scene with the clown when you see that little TV fall up, the I'll tell you. I'll give something away.
Okay.
He goes in front of Terry and he shows him. He wants to show him something, which I can't say. And he grabs his mouth and he rips it open. And I'm like, dude, we're gonna have the clown, right? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's gonna rip his face open, and then we're gonna have a TV, like a 1970 TV. He's just looking at me crazy. I'm like, it's gonna be a railroad track. He's like, TV's gonna be a railroad track. I'm like, yeah. And it's gonna be rolling down the tracks, and smoke's gonna be coming out, and saliva, and then it's gonna come to the end, and we're gonna green screen it. We're gonna go inside. We're gonna have a camera follow it. He's like, a camera won't fit in the head. I'm like, we're gonna get a probe lens. This long lens, and we're gonna follow the probe lens. And then I get done saying that, right? Because that's the easy part. Now he has to go make it. And he goes and kicks ass every time and nailed it.
Yeah, he sure did, because you can see that in the trailer. You're like the Vero inside the mouth, heading towards Terry Kaiser with those creepy teeth, and you can feel the emotion from the clown's mouth inside there. You can feel it, and you can feel Terry, his character, really getting all intense and really morbid about it. It gives you that creepy, eerie feeling. It gives you that claustrophobic feel while you're looking through the mouth.
Yeah, and that whole probe lens, it's a long lens. Is it on any behind the scenes? No. It's what we also follow when he does heroin.
Yeah.
We follow his arm all the way up, and then it goes to his eyeball. Same kind of thing there. Yeah, it's awesome. And Terry's amazing. I mean, we did that scene, probe in, probe out. We did it like 3 or 4 times. And then I just lean over and I go, hey, Terry, can you cry on this one? Because it's emotional what he's seeing on the TV. Dude, he doesn't even say anything. We just go, and the TV, right when it gets to the end, bang, a tear comes out of his eye. I'm like, wait, this guy's a pro.
Yeah, he does. I love his work. I'm definitely going to follow and see what he does next. And also in the trailer, the Reaper gets down to business, man. He's like beating up Burley, everything. So, did you guys have a fight choreographer on that set as too?
It was a good question. We'll have one for the upcoming 2 scenes, but no, for that it was just me, because we were in a bathroom and we put padding down. And we had a sink that we broke and all kinds of stuff like that. So nothing crazy happened yet. Like no one went flying through a wall or nothing like that. It was just basically, off screen and then back to the screen. The sink is broke. So that was nothing crazy that we couldn't handle. But the Afghanistan scene where there's a war and other scenes, there will be.
Yeah, because I was asking if there was some choreography on it, and also when you're still filming it, are you going to be doing a little bit of your own stunts as well?
Yeah, I'm getting so old and hurt and broken that everyone's like, "Hey, try not to do too many stunts." But there's no crazy. Well, Afghanistan's probably the longest, which is just a battle, like machine gun battle.
Yeah.
So nothing crazy, but a little physicality, and then some more one-on-one physicality throughout it. But they won't let me. I mean, the 2 different sets I was on, I dislocated my knee and broke the screws, and then the other one I tore all 4 tendons off my shoulder and snapped my biceps. So I'm just old and beat up. So we're gonna try to go less on me.
Oh, come on, man. Where's the fun of that?
I know, dude. But I come out of I was just limping for 6 months, and then finally the surgery. Before that, I was out 4 months with the shoulder, and then we got to stop shooting. And I'm almost 50, and I've had 40 surgeries, so I need to not ruin the film anymore.
You know who you remind me of? You remind me of a pro wrestler. I know a lot of wrestlers in the business that get hurt and damaged all the time, man.
Yeah, my body's beat up for sure. I used to lift really heavy, and I used to fight a lot and stuff like that. I played sports, and it don't work no more. It looks semi-okay from the outside, but mechanically it's not.
Man, you got a build of a pro wrestler. I'm surprised you didn't get into pro wrestling.
Well, I hurt my knee really bad when I was 17, so this is my 24th surgery on one knee. So as of 18, I was legally handicapped. I have a legally handicapped sticker now.
Hey, at least you get all the cool spots.
I do. Yeah. So otherwise, I would have loved to have done that. I love wrestling.
Yeah. Since I'm talking to you too, your room, you got a lot of great Jason memorabilia. Look at all those masks. I wish my listeners could see this, but that's an impressive Halloween collection with all those Jason masks.
Thank you. Yeah, I have 77 masks. Every single version of every poster of every movie of every damage level signed by every single one. Plus, I have shadow boxes, so that's part 7. Kane signed the mask, the VHS, the machete, the doll, the poster, the pictures, and then there's part 4, Ted White, Part 6, CJ signed them all. Part 3, I have the Fangoria mask. I have all of them. So, just been a huge fan of it.
Since you've been a huge fan and started going to horror conventions, you're old like me. When conventions weren't as big and popular, you were able to get your stuff and get out of there. Now it's just got so popular and extreme. Sometimes it gets suffocating sometimes, but everybody loves horror. So when you started going to conventions, who was your first Friday the 13th actor you got first before you started getting everybody else?
Kane Hodder at Rock and Shock. Kane's always been my favorite Jason. Kane Hodder at Rock and Shock, and he was only $25 then. I think he's 60 now, and 80 with a photo. And I was in line. I just had my knee replaced, and I was kind of limping. And he was looking at me. I was kind of nervous, And then I got close, and he's like, "What's wrong with the knee?" I'm like, "Oh, I just had a knee replacement. I had blood clots. I had to wear these compression socks and all this shit." And he's like, "Oh yeah, really?" He's talking to me. I was a lot bigger then, and talking about shit. And I must have had like 4 things for him to sign, and he signed all 4. And then he looked at me and he goes, "Don't worry about it. Get better on your knee." And he didn't charge me. And then, dude, the next time I went to a show, he seen me. He told me to sit next to him. Next thing you know, I got his number, his email, and the next thing you know, we're friends. Don't ask me why. Out of everybody, he chose me to be cool like that too. But imagine you go to meet your hero and he treats you like that. It's just like the coolest thing ever.
That's an awesome Kane Hodder story. How you really became legit friends with him too. So did you let him choke you?
Oh, he's choked me multiple times. He doesn't choke too many more people because I don't know if he told you he got somebody sued him.
Someone sued Kane Hodder for choking them.
Yeah, not even like he choked them and they passed out and fell or hit their head. Like he choked them, took a picture, "Hey, thanks, I love you," and then they went home, took the picture the next day, and said, "Oh, my neck hurts," and tried to sue him like that, like a piece of shit move,
That's crazy. So since you know Kane Hodder, do you have a favorite moment with you and Kane that just sticks to your head all the time about you hanging out with Kane Hodder?
Yeah, I dressed up as Savini Jason, probably one of the first guys to cosplay Savini Jason. And I had the music from the game. A guy was holding the speaker behind me. And I went to the contest. And everybody thought I was going to win at Monstermania. And I didn't fucking win. Some stupid rollerblading mummy won. And so we came back and I went to eat and drink with Kane in the bar. And there's pictures of him doing a video of me and him doing a huge tequila shot. And he was just busting my balls that I didn't win. And here I am in the Savini outfit, just with the mask off and stuff like that, hanging out with him. That was probably one of the coolest ones.
That's awesome. And why would someone want to pick a mummy with roller skates? What the fuck's up with that shit?
I don't know. I don't even know if they knew about the game that much then. I mean, because, listen, I love all the Jasons, but everyone's done them a million times. But that Savini was brand new. I mean, I had the spikes coming through. I'll send you the pictures. And I had the real Trident made from Savini specs. It was like $595. And I had everything all red, the fire, everything, and had the music playing, and I don't know. I thought I was going to win. I was like, fuck it, I'm never cosplaying again, because if I didn't win with that, how am I going to win anything?
Hey, that's pretty awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know you had that Kit Kat's cosplay and that great, Kane Hodder story.
Thanks. What about you? Have you met CJ?
I've only had him on the show. I've met CJ. He was on the show last week. We came on and talked about, his time. A lot of people don't remember him as Hell Cop, from Highway to Hell. Dude, he nailed that role, man, with all that gory makeup and that cool police interceptor car of hell. And a lot of people didn't know he was there's people now that do, but I remember that because, I'm pretty old too. I remember renting that at a mom and pop video store, when it, came out, and everybody didn't know about him playing Hell Cop. And then another cool story about him is he has a ranch in Montana, okay? And he has horses. So he has this one horse that does not like him called Diablo. And Diablo just knocked him, almost killed him and stuff, and I was asking him, I go, "Are you and Diablo still friends?" He's like, no. And he also loves horses, and he loves living out with his wife, out in a ranch in Montana. And he just bought this artist did this huge, head, real huge, of Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
I saw he put it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm friends with him and Ruby. Ruby's his wife. His wife, Ruby, was in Vengeance. part two also.
Yeah, Ruby's awesome.
Best.
If I wasn't for Ruby, this wouldn't have never happened to me talking to CJ because he's my favorite favorite Jason. And Ruby just like followed. Ruby liked some of my stuff, and so I tried to reach out to CJ, and CJ's like, here's my wife's number. Text her, and I was like, are you sure you want me to be texting your wife? And he's like, yeah, go ahead and text.
Like his manager.
Yeah, and Ruby was real nice and cool. They're gonna be at a few conventions, like near me where I can go. So I'm gonna look forward to finally meeting him and giving Ruby a big hug and a big high five to CJ. And you know how CJ's all tatted up, and and I'm starting to get tatted up a little bit. And he called my arms like Mr. T arms with not that much ink.
What do you got for ink? You got any horror stuff?
Yeah, I got Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna from Terrifier 2 on my arm right here.
Oh, yeah, dude. I just met her. I just met her at Connecticut Horror Fest.
Yeah, she loved the ink. I was the first one to ever do it, so I reached out to Michael Levy and Jason Levy because I was like, do you think, Lauren Lavera would mind if I got a tat of her Sienna? It's like, I go, before I do it, can you ask her for her blessing? They're like, sure. So she got back and goes, give my blessing. And I was the first to get a Sienna. There's other people with them now, but I was like one of the first to get it. And then my next tattoo is, I'm a big fan of Neil Gaiman. So I got Death from Sandman on my arm.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan, so I got Scooby right here. And then I'm a huge Swamp Thing fan. I got Swamp Thing right here, the Alan Moore run.
Yeah. They canceled the show. I loved it.
I loved it because it was the dark Swamp Thing you see from the comics. And I love James Gunn. He's taking over the DC Universe, and he's going to do a darker version of Swamp Thing, which I'm so excited.
And Derek Mears looked great as him.
Oh, Derek Mears was an awesome Swamp Thing, but also back in the day, remember the 90s series on US Network Swamp Thing where he had Dick Durark?
Oh, yeah.
Who played, he was just like a stunt man, but he played Swamp Thing. That was pretty good. And then my other tat I have is the creature from Monster Squad.
Which creature? Oh, that creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, that's my favorite Universal. And then on my leg, since I'm a Star Wars nut, I have the Rebel insignia on my right leg.
Oh, that's great. The Rebel. Yeah, that's awesome.
I had to because I just love Star Wars, man.
Yeah, it just sucks what's happened to it.
Yeah, I totally agree. The newer Star Wars ruined it for me, except for Mandalorian. To me, that's Star Wars. But after that, I'm just not interested in checking out Star Wars. It just gives me a bad taste in my tongue. And like I said, I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. I mean, besides horror, I love Star Wars. I collect a lot of horror stuff, but I have a big, huge Star Wars collection too. But it just kind of gives me that sour taste what Disney's doing to Star Wars.
Yeah. The fact that they didn't hire one director for the new three trilogy is absolutely ridiculous. And they have no plan. JJ starts off pretty good. Right, you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. Then Ryan Reynolds, destroys the second one. Is it Ryan? What's his name? Ryan Johnson. Sorry.
Ryan Johnson, yeah, not Ryan Reynolds.
And now J.J. Abrams has to take shame for the third one because the third one's horrible. But in his defense, you already killed Luke. You already killed Snoke. Like, what the hell is even left? And the last one was just terrible. Why wouldn't you have one director? It's the largest franchise in the history of movies. Why wouldn't you have one vision, one director for all three? It just blows my mind.
That just blows my mind too, and I love J.J. Abrams because whatever he does is golden. He's done a lot of cool shit, man. I love Abrams.
Oh yeah, he changed the game.
He sure did. He changed the game on the first new Star Wars film, and he also changed the game when he did the reboots of Star Trek with Chris Pine. I mean, he nailed those.
The way he switched out Spock and Kirk's roles at the end of that, that was genius. That was genius. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I always ask this question to my guests on the show. What does horror mean to you?
Horror films?
Just the word horror.
What does it mean to me? So when when you say mean to me, I'm going to go, what? How does it intrigue me?
Yeah, how's it intrigue you?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with intrigue, and I'm going to go feel alive. Because to me, horror is like a roller coaster. And even though you're scared and things are going, you're feeling things you don't normally feel on a 9 to 5 day. Regular films, yeah, you might cry a little, you might feel this way, but horror brings out an element of you that you'll never really experience in real life. Yeah, we all lose loved ones, we all have loss and relationships and stuff. That's normal. But how often are you going to see someone's head chopped off or be able to stab someone or kill someone or stuff like that? So I think horror really, to me, brings out that inner imagination, that inner childhood, that inner fear that you're always looking for. And as you get older, you become less fearful of things. You just don't care. And to me, horror still does that. So excitement, horror still makes you feel alive.
So are there any other projects you're going to be doing right after you do Laugh?
So we're doing Snow White, Laugh, and 259. But no, Laugh is going to be everything for me until like 2025. Then I might do a horror comedy after that.
Ooh, hey, there's nothing wrong for a good horror comedy.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had one in a while. You know what I'm saying? The what you call it? What is it? Oh my God! Whatever of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead. That was great.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead, especially the part where Simon Pegg is Johnny and he sounded like a zombie.
Yeah. It's one of those ones that could be funny. And then what's the other one? Double Tap was the second one.
That was no. You're probably thinking about Zombieland 2 Double Tap?
Zombieland 2 Double Tap. Yeah. Zombieland. Those are pretty funny too.
With Bill Murray.
Yeah. He's great.
You gotta love Bill Murray. So where can everybody find you on social media to see what you're doing next, and where can everybody find you and support you for your Indiegogo for Laugh?
Indiegogo, just go to Indiegogo and put Laugh. Indiegogo campaign. It's the window. It's called Laugh, the Window to the Soul, because there was another one from before, but that one's closed. So Laugh, a Window to the Soul on Indiegogo, and then Peter Anthony Productions. I'm actually taking the Laugh pages and turning them into Peter Anthony Productions. So anywhere you see Peter Anthony Productions or the Peter Anthony is where you can follow me and all my work, and that's on TikTok, that's on Twitter, that's on Instagram, that's on Facebook. PeterAnthony.com is the website. So I'm trying to put it all into one umbrella.
All right. Thank you so much coming out of your busy time to come on and have a blast with me tonight.
No problem. I owed you.
Oh, you owed me real big, brother. You know I'm not going to let that go.
I felt bad. I'm like, I think I was sick one time. Then I had to have surgery. Then my niece is fine. I was like, this guy thinks I'm like blowing him off, but I'm really not. You know?
No, I didn't think you were blowing off. I mean, shit happens. It happens to everybody. You know, like I said, no worries. I just love giving you a hard time about it.
You should. It's all right. Thank you so much again, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. And everybody else, thank you for listening to Horror Pop.